My name is Ollie Elkus, and I'm going to be reading an excerpt from a short story from Hersh Dovid Nomberg called Between Parents. It's translated by myself and Daniel Kennedy. The train left the station at 5. Mendel the merchant bought Yitskhok a child's fare and told him that he should tell the conductor Osium lat, which means 8 years old in Polish, and try to make himself look smaller. He sat in the corner of the train car and cowered. It began to get dark. His half-shut eyes saw nothing but the smoke that wafted through the air of the train car, dispersing into every corner, lonely and neglected, like an orphan. The only thing he could make out amid the smoke was his sack of laundry and Mendel's travel chest. The train car rattled, and through the clamor of conversation, all Yitskhok heard was muddled words. A man asked, "Who's that boy?" and pointed his finger. Yitzhak was scared to hear the answer and shrunk closer against the wall. Then there was a sigh, a voice moaning and saying the words, "tough times." There was talk of bankruptcy. Yitzhak didn't understand what this meant, but he supposed that it must be something very, very bad that only happened in tough times. Another voice moaned too and said that the Messiah must be coming, since there was no work at all. New decrees had been made, and Yitzhak became deeply saddened in his soul. He couldn't help but think that the tough times would last for a while. All the businesses would go belly up, all the young boys would be without jackets, and all the young girls would go barefoot, without shoes, and they'd shout, "I'm hungry," and the mothers and fathers would sigh, "There's no money, God have mercy." He opened his eyes and looked around. Every face around him looked terribly sullen, and he felt pity for all of them, even for Mendel the merchant. He forgave him now for the fact that he'd only bought him a child's fare, and for himself a ticket at full price. The train came to a stop. People got on and off the train car, dragging their luggage behind them, and a voice from somewhere asked loudly, "Ah, how's it going, Henoch?" "Blessed be the name," answered another voice. "Have you got work? How's it going for you?" "Just fine, blessed be the name." Yitzhak's blue eyes looked at the man with affection, and if he hadn't been so embarrassed, he'd have said to him, "You're a good Jew, mister. You've got work. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name." The train traveled on, and Yitzhak went over to the window and took a look outside. It began to get darker and darker, and the shapes of the trees and fields slowly vanished into darkness. The telegraph wires were no longer visible, and the telegraph poles hopped away, one after the other, hiding in the distance. Ruddy clouds swept through the sky, and every once in a while a fire sparked up. The fires trembled and sprang, and the darker it got, the more of them there were. The poles could hardly be seen anymore. The sky and the earth merged together in a single black mass, and the train found itself between two walls of earth. It was dark as far as eyes could see, terribly dark, and something was rustling in the darkness, and running, but God knows where to. Yitzhak turned to Mendel the merchant and said very quietly, "Reb Mendel?" But Reb Mendel was asleep. "Reb Mendel," he said again, and tugged at his arm. "What? What happens if the train crashes?" Reb Mendel didn't answer and leaned back in his seat again. "Then it's all over, right?" asked the boy, as if to himself. Reb Mendel was snoring. And that's the end of chapter 3 of Between Parents from Hersh Dovid Nomberg.